Chelsea officially announced the arrival of Joao Pedro from Brighton with a transfer value of £60 million and a super long contract until 2033. However, it's not just the big numbers and the length of the contract that make this transfer a highlight. There is one figure from the Blues' past who also played a role behind the scenes: David Luiz. In his first interview with Chelsea, Joao Pedro revealed that he had a discussion with David Luiz before agreeing to move to Stamford Bridge. Not just nostalgia, but more towards career advice and self-development. The result? Pedro is now officially wearing the proud blue jersey of West London. The fight for this player was also not easy. Newcastle had offered £50 million first, but was rejected by Brighton. When Chelsea saw an opportunity, they immediately stepped on the gas and overtook. Arsenal and Liverpool had also been monitoring Pedro, but the Blues managed to secure his signature first. Fabian Hürzeler called this a perfect deal for all parties. Pedro could play in the Champions League, while Brighton got big financial benefits. The coach also believes the move will help Pedro secure a place in the Brazil squad ahead of the World Cup. With the flexibility to play as a striker, winger or attacking midfielder, Joao Pedro arrives at a time when Chelsea are rebuilding their strength. But with stiff competition up front from Palmer, Estevão, Delap and Madueke, can Pedro become a regular starter straight away? Do you think Joao Pedro deserves to be Chelsea's first choice starter this season? Shocking news has come from Stamford Bridge. Liam Delap, previously considered a future star for Everton, may now be regretting his decision to join Chelsea. Why is that? After Delap's success with Ipswich Town in the Premier League, Everton tried to make him the face of an ambitious project. David Moyes was a big admirer of Delap, who was set to lead the Toffees back to success. However, Delap chose Chelsea, wanting trophies and big opportunities. But the scenario now seems to be reversed. Chelsea's latest move means that Delap will now have to compete with new striker Joao Pedro, who has joined the Blues. With Pedro's arrival, Delap faces a bigger challenge for playing time. While this is a chance for Delap to shine, competition from Nicholas Jackson and Pedro makes his path to the starting 11 even more difficult. Is Delap now starting to doubt his choice? In football, decisions can be turned around quickly, and the evidence is in front of his eyes. Will Delap's move to Chelsea lead to regret, or can he prove that he deserves to be there? Do you think this is the right decision? Alarm bells are ringing in the Chelsea camp ahead of the Club World Cup quarterfinals. £58 million young midfielder Romeo Lavia, who started against Benfica, was not seen in the Blues' final training session. With the game against Palmeiras just hours away, Enzo Maresca is clearly having a headache. Without Lavia, who is recovering from a long-term injury, and Moises Caicedo, who is out due to a suspension, Chelsea's midfield could be completely changed. Two names that are now being touted as possible replacements are Andre Santos and Dario Essigo. However, the safest choice could be Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, who scored against Benfica and is clearly familiar with Maresca's style of play from his time at Leicester. One thing is for sure, Maresca is short of time and every decision is high stakes. Meanwhile, Joao Pedro trained with the squad for the first time. The new striker could be a surprise addition to the squad, given his versatility in attack, which is much needed in a tournament this short. With all this uncertainty, one big question remains. Will Lavia's absence derail Chelsea's trophy-winning ambitions in America? Do you think Maresca should play it safe or give the youngsters a chance? Shocking news from the football world. Estevão Willian is set to feature against Chelsea in the Club World Cup quarterfinals. However, there is a catch. He will join Chelsea immediately after the tournament. So, how does that affect the game? Chelsea come to Philadelphia on the back of a tense encounter against Benfica, where they had to fight hard and wait almost 2 hours due to bad weather before winning 4-1 in extra time. Now, Enzo Maresca's side face a new challenge in Estevão and Palmeiras. Estevão has been in impressive form throughout the tournament, even earning man-of-the-match performances in games against Porto and Al Ahly. The 18-year-old has been described as a future star by Neymar and a special talent by Brazil coach Carlo Ancelotti, making him one of the most watched players in the tournament. All eyes will now be on Estevão, who will be facing the team he wants to play for in the future. Will Willian's performance change Chelsea's perception of him as the two go head-to-head in this crucial clash? With Estevão confirmed as available to face Chelsea, one question looms large in the minds of fans. Will his form help Palmeiras surprise Chelsea? Or will it cement the Blues' decision to bring him to Stamford Bridge? Do you think this is the right moment for Estevão to shine? Đorđe Petrovic's future has finally been answered. After being Chelsea's mainstay under the crossbar last season, the Serbian goalkeeper will now officially move to Sunderland with a fantastic dowry, £21.5 million. Petrovic, who was loaned to Strasbourg last season, performed brilliantly and attracted a lot of interest. However, with Robert Sanchez already established as the main goalkeeper in the Enzo Maresca era, as well as the presence of Philip Jorgensen and Mike Penders, Petrovic's position is increasingly squeezed. Chelsea actually tried to recruit Mike Maignan from AC Milan, but negotiations stalled. Now, they have chosen a different step, streamlining the goalkeeper ranks and cashing in on Petrovic, who was originally brought in from New England Revolution. Sunderland, who were just promoted to the Premier League via the playoffs, immediately moved quickly. Petrovic will compete with Anthony Patterson for the main position at the Stadium of Light, and this could be his moment of revival after being eliminated from Chelsea's big plans. A sensible decision from both sides. Chelsea get the win, Sunderland get the quality, and Petrovic gets some game time again. Do you think Chelsea let Petrovic go too soon? Crazy. After shopping for 3 strikers at once, Liam Delap, Jamie Bino Gittins, and Joao Pedro, Chelsea seems to be going to overhaul its attack line again. And now one name is starting to be threatened: Noni Madueke. According to David Ornstein, Arsenal is very interested in Madueke's profile. The player, who can play on both wings, has strong connections with many of the Gunners' players and is used to the London atmosphere. But until now, there have been no official talks between the clubs. All are still at the player and agent level. Chelsea themselves have not actively offered Madueke, but they are open to negotiations if there is an interesting offer. Reportedly, the price set for the 23-year-old English winger is around £45 million. Last season, Madueke performed quite consistently with 7 goals and 4 assists from 32 Premier League matches. But in the midst of Enzo Maresca's big project, who wants 9 strikers in his squad, the competition is getting tighter, and it could be that Madueke is the next victim of the Stamford Bridge revolution. On the other hand, Chelsea are also still pursuing Mohamed Kudus from West Ham, and have already met with his agent. This means that the frontline slots are really crowded, and someone has to step aside. Now the question is, if Madueke is released and Kudus comes in, will Chelsea really be stronger? In your opinion, who is more worthy of being kept, Madueke or Kudus? Bayern Munich are on the move again. This time, their target is not a big name. It's Renato Veiga, Chelsea's young defender who Fabrizio Romano has suggested could be sold permanently this summer. The 21-year-old Portuguese has not been part of Enzo Maresca's plans. Having made just 7 Premier League appearances before being loaned to Juventus, Veiga is now set to return to Stamford Bridge, but perhaps only to say goodbye. Bayern are monitoring Veiga's situation closely. They are looking for a potential replacement for Kim Min-jae, whose future at the Allianz Arena has been thrown into doubt by the arrival of Jonathan Tah. Interestingly, Veiga has rare versatility. He can play as both a centre-back and a defensive midfielder. His Serie A stats for Juve are also quite impressive for a player of his age. 17 tackles and 19 interceptions in 13 games. Figures that show positional intelligence and aggression, 2 qualities that Bayern desperately need right now. However, time will be of the essence. Many other clubs are also eyeing Veiga, and Bayern must act quickly if they don't want to lose out again after previously failing to poach Jamie Bino Gittins to Chelsea. If the Kim Min-jae negotiations are completed first, Bayern could immediately start the engine and retaliate with soft revenge on Chelsea. This transfer could be a smart move for the future of D. Rotten. Do you think Bayern is worth gambling on a young player like Veiga?